Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to cover a topic that I've covered before, but it seems to have confused some of my more easily confused viewers. Let's just call them that. So I've got kind of a conundrum right here, right now. For one, I got to get through this video in one take and quickly and get outside to install a new radiator in the truck with my son. But on the other hand, I have a feeling I'm going to need to talk really slow during this, as not to confuse anyone. But let's get on here and let's try to do this quickly. I want to talk about how I have said, support the gun community, support gun shops, support manufacturers, and usually I've said try to stay local, keep your local businesses alive because they are your lifeline to guns. They are how you buy them. If it wasn't for your local shops, etc., you would not have an easy time maintaining a steady flow of supply in this country because the wrong people in government could easily disrupt the flow of guns across state lines. Meaning if you live in a state like, let's say, Ohio, and you start buying exclusively from, online sources that are in the Midwest. Well, if you run all your local shops out of business, well then, if the government says, yeah, no more buying across state lines, if you want to buy a gun, you have to be present at the point of sale. Well, they're not preventing anyone from buying guns, but because of financial decisions made by the people in your state, there's no sources in your state anymore. And then these people, you might say, oh, well, then there'll be new gun shops pop up if we need them. Well, not if the people controlling the licenses don't really issue them quickly enough. So you hear me all the time saying, support the industry, support the industry, support the industry. But then I say, the industry is not your friend when it comes to gun rights. And a lot of people are like, how can you say support the industry? And then you say the industry is not our friend. And then you even go as far as to say that the industry is overblown and is working against us actively because there is an inflated market and they're trying to maintain that. A lot of people are like, those things can't all be true at the same time. Yes, they can. They can very easily be true at the same time. Your local gun shop, local distributors, local manufacturers are very important. If there's no supply, it doesn't matter how much demand and how much availability there is for people who want to get guns. If there's no guns there, if everybody's allowed to own everything they want, but they can't get it, that doesn't mean much for the Second Amendment. It doesn't do the Second Amendment any good. It hurts us as a people. So industry has to be there. We have to have people like Smith & Wesson. We have to have like Ruger. We have to have Kimber, etc. And we have to have local distributors, retailers available to us at all times. Supply and demand have to meet each other. You can't have just demand with no supply. So it is very important to support your local gun shops. And I'm like I say, don't support big box stores and online shops as much. If it's an online shop that's in your state, great. And believe me, I got nothing against online retailers. I work very closely with some online retailers. Grab a Gun does so much for TYM and the Pets and Vets programs that we probably wouldn't be able to run it without them. Sporting System is a local store, and they do a lot for it too. But without, in fact, they do probably more than anybody. But without Grab a Gun, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So believe me, I'm not demonizing online retailers. I want there to be online retailers so that there's easy access to people. There are some people that don't have easy access to a gun shop already. So I want those to be there for those people. But I don't want it to ever get to where it's just online retailers or else we're screwed. Or if it's just big box retailers, because we're screwed. You need those gun-centric shops because big box stores will ditch guns in a second as soon as there's political pressure. I talked about that yesterday. And, online retailers, they're subject to too much regulation because of interstate commerce laws. But that doesn't mean that the industry itself isn't overinflated. Doesn't mean there isn't an artificial market they're trying to keep going. They're very much trying to keep this inflated market up. Gun sales have been through the roof now. For the last decade, they've just been exploding. So they want to maintain that. They want to keep those dollars flowing, and they know a healthy Second Amendment is not good for that. If we win our battles for our rights, well then what point is there for us to continue to buy more than we need or to pay gun companies, these gun rights companies, these gun right groups? What reason is there for us to give them money? And they all want to keep making money. So the gun rights groups and the manufacturers work together for what's best for business. We have to work for what's best for the Second Amendment. And that doesn't necessarily mean maintaining this inflated market. We have to accept that some gun manufacturers are going to go out of business. And we have to be okay with that. Like if you've got 6 companies making AR lowers in your state and suddenly demand drops to a quarter of what it used to be, well then probably 3 or 4 of those are going to go out of business. That's how the market works. Right now we have more supply than we need. Supply is much higher than demand. So they have to create artificial demand to take up that supply. That's best for business. That's good for the gun groups because they make a lot of their money from gun manufacturers. So that's what their goal is. And you just have to know that. You have to understand that these companies are looking out for what's better for business, what's best for business, not what's best for you as an individual or even us as a country. They care about what's on that bottom line of their profit sheet. Now, there are people inside these companies that actually do care about the Second Amendment. Of course there are. There are people inside the gun groups that actually are activists for the Second Amendment. Of course they are. But once they get involved in these big companies, once they become part of the machine, doesn't matter what they want. It matters what the machine wants. And the machine wants what's best for business. It wants you to always be a little bit afraid that you're going to lose your gun rights. It always wants you to be a little bit afraid that you're not going to be able to get this product or that product in 6 months. Because that drives up sales, drives up profits. But that doesn't mean we have to let the industry die or we want the industry to go away, because we need the industry to supply us with the products we need to exercise our rights. So we do it within a reasonable, within a reason, we support those industries. But that doesn't mean we have to support every single manufacturer being able to make profit. It doesn't mean we support scare tactics to pump up sales. In a stable economy, with a stable environment, when our rights are secure, there's not going to be as big a gun industry, period. That's just the reality of it. That's not good for business for gun industries. They're going to have to shrink. Our rights, however, will remain strong, and there will still be more than enough for everybody. If we maintain the Second Amendment, if we maintain our local distributorships, I guess. I don't know what the word right there would be. And I'm not starting over, like I said, I don't got a lot of time today. But I think you get what I'm saying. You can believe both these things. You can believe that we have to support industry and we have to support the distribution. We have to support the infrastructure. We have to do our part, spend our money in the right places. But it doesn't mean we have to support an overinflated industry that is working against our interests to maintain a false demand. There's a line there. You can say, I support the industry, but I don't support the things they do sometimes. Like, I recognize they need to be there. It's just that I'm not going to let them run roughshod over my rights simply because I want the new product. You have to set your priorities. What's more important? Maintaining an overinflated industry that is actively fighting against your rights, or putting the brakes on, doing what's good for our rights, and telling industry, adapt. You're going to shrink. Some people are going to lose their jobs. That's the way it is. That's the reality. We have to accept that because you can't have both. Like I said, you either have to decide, I want to maintain this environment of fear and uncertainty so that gun industries continue to flourish and get bigger and bigger, or you can say, I want to get back down to where our gun rights are safe, people are secure, they buy what they need or what they want and nothing more. They don't buy more than they need or want simply because they're afraid. And like I said, that's not good for business, so you have to choose. Which one do you want? A strong Second Amendment, a strong community, and people who buy what they need or what they want? Or do you want this giant gun industry that gets bigger and bigger? To me, I'm not concerned about the industry. I'm concerned about my rights. I recognize the industry is important, but they're only important to a certain size. Once they try to be more than they should be, they become a detriment to our rights. And since our rights are more important to me, I'm like, some businesses are going to go under. Some people are going to lose their livelihood. But that's on them. They chose to be a part of this business. And like I said, if we get back to where we are comfortable and secure, we'll lose some jobs in the gun industry. Some manufacturers will go out of business. But that's just the cost of living in a safe and secure country where we know our rights are not going to be taken from us. All right, everybody, that's it for me. I want to go ahead and sign off here. Before I go, I want to announce the winner of the actual drawing last night. It was John Vigna, I believe his last name was, because I remember thinking, well, if he grew up anywhere like where I grew up, he was probably called John Vagina a lot. So John Vigna, you are the winner. All you got to do now is come to one of my live chats and tell me where you want the gift certificate to, which online business you want that gift certificate from. So come on in, let me know. Until then, I want to sign off. I want to thank everybody for coming. I do appreciate it. I hope to see you again tomorrow. And until then, I want to remind everyone out there to always carry and stay safe until I see you again. I am a grown-ass man.